And I'm not even sure if Twitter ads are that good because I always get the wrong one. Yeah, I think Twitter thinks I'm a dude, like a middle-aged dude or something. People say, go to LinkedIn. Really? Have you ever clicked on an ad on LinkedIn? LinkedIn is terrible, you know.
Welcome, Liz and Lucas, to the Indie Worldwide podcast. My first question for you guys is, which came first, the marriage or the product?
Oh, the marriage came way before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have been together for 9 years already, 6 years married, and the product is less than 2 years old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you're working on StageTimer.io, right? It's like a product for speakers to see how much time they have left in their session. It's about 2 years old, the product?
1.5.
Yeah, from conception, yeah.
Yeah, from conception, exactly.
And were you guys co-founders from the very beginning? Did one of you started and the other one hops on later? How does that work?
Not at all, actually. I started alone as a side project. And only when my wife kind of decided she doesn't want to teach anymore is the point where I said, I may just ask her if she wants to be part of a StageTimer or wants to do some marketing. Because I know that she can pick up things very quickly. So I said, do you want to do this? And then we bought some books for marketing and
So from my side, I was laughing because we both had our own side projects, and we knew like little to nothing about each other's projects. So I was doing my stuff also. I come from Brazil, so I had a few projects in Brazil, and I was already doing okay with my products and things in Brazil. So that's why I also, when he invited me, it was not like I have to start from zero. I knew a little bit it would be starting from zero in this industry, but I was excited to just learn more about, especially like scaling a business. So that's the part that was excited about.
Well, speaking of scale, maybe let's start with some rapid fire, just like get a sense of where your company is at. So give everybody context about where you are in your journey so far. So I'll just go through all these, basically what I sent you in the Twitter DM before. So first of all, we know it already, it's StageTimer.io. Did I give a good description earlier? Like what's your elevator pitch for?
No, that's pretty much it. What you said is it.
Yeah, we just say it's a remote control countdown timer, but this only works with the industry. If it's someone that is not from the industry, it's like, why do you need a remote controlled countdown time? But for the industry, for event production, video production, this makes total sense.
How many people are using your product right now, like paying customers?
Paying customers, we have a bit more than 500.
Wow.
And registered users, we have 1,600.
So it's like a freemium model. There's some free users.
Yeah, and you don't even have to register. So we have way more visitors. But it's what I call the people baking a cake, because it's a timer. If you find it on Google, you can just use it to bake your cake. But these people we don't count because these visits are just, it's fine for us, but it is not our target.
Yeah, I definitely would love to dig in a little bit into what are the differentiating features, like what people pay for, but let's come back to it. So 500 paying customers, that's awesome. Congrats. What's your approximate, is it a monthly recurring model or how are you monetized?
Jose?
Sure. So the point is like this, is a little bit different from most SaaS because MRR is not necessarily the most important metric for us because we have a one-time license. Because it's for events, we have a 10-day event license.
Oh, interesting.
That is pretty cool because then it pretty much doubled our MRR. We get double of our MRR in revenue. So right now we are at 2,000 MRR, but then we usually get 4,000 in revenue because of course, people that buy yearly and then you have this push in revenue, but also because of this one-time license. And the cool thing is that it doesn't mean that they come, use for one time and never come again. On the contrary, people usually come again month over month, just to have this one-time event license. So it's quite a kick for our revenue.
Yeah, that's creative.
Let me say something about this actually. It might not work for every SaaS company. What we have is that people actually ask us, can we just pay once and put it on my client's expense account? it's much easier for me than to divide monthly recurring payments into smaller chunks. So that's why we offered it, and people come back for it over and over. So it kind of works.
So do you have like contractors coming back with multiple different AV clients, and they're like, okay, this new client also needs Stage Timer. Let me buy it from you again.
Yeah. Basically what they have is they have like events where they say, oh, here we need it, and then we need it again, and we need it again, we need it again for another event, and they just come back.
So how large is your team right now? Is it just you guys, or are there employees?
Yeah,
You're talking
Nice,
to
I'm
the whole
looking at
team
it.
right now.
Nice. So let's loop back a little bit to that. Like, what is the differentiating factor? Because it sounds like you have a really unique business model that works really well for your kind of customer, right? They're like occasional users. A lot of times they'll have 2 or 3 events a year. Some people have lots of events, I'm sure, but a lot of people are only doing a couple a year. And the MRR is not the end-all, be-all for all businesses, right? Like, it's awesome to have that base of stability, but not all users want to pay for something every month. I think it's really cool if you've captured some extra value from people who don't necessarily want a monthly subscription, but they do want to pay you. I'm curious, what are they paying for that the free users don't get?
Right. So to be honest, I'm asking myself to this day, like, why do people pay money for countdown time?
He has a huge problem with imposter syndrome, but yeah.
So
a crisis of confidence.
Yeah, the point is when we created, I was looking for a tool like this one day that I just hey, on one computer I can just remote control, and on another computer I can show it. Because a friend of mine was using a timer, I had to run back and forth into a room, like to start it, press start, run back out, press stop. There has to be a better solution, and there was none. So that's why I built it, and apparently people really liked it. So the alternative that you have to this is like basically a physical box that shows a countdown timer, and you have to run a wire through the room, and it costs like $200 to $500 to buy one. So the software option is quite cheap comparatively. So our target cost, like for us, like a countdown timer, and you pay $10 for it, is crazy. But then for our target customers, like it just makes financial sense because it's cheaper than the alternatives. Yeah.
Does the free version, like, what's the limit of the free version, right? Can I just use the free version to run my events? Why do I upgrade?
Yeah, it is free, and it's free forever. But then you have, of course, the limits. Like, you can only set 3 timers, and then send 3 messages, and have 3 connected devices. So you have everything just up to 3. And then when you pay, you get not only like more connected devices and unlimited timers and so on, but also some cool features such as customization, which is very important for events, because you want to have the branding and so on. So there is a bunch of things, API, and yeah.
It's most of all people buy it because they want to connect more devices to a single timer, and then because they want to upload their own logo. But then also a fair bit of people, they buy it because they want to use the like an API connection to it, which is surprising. So it's quite a tech savvy audience that we have.
So here's a very nice thing about the product that sometimes Lucas doesn't even realize to mention, but actually it is a tool that made life, like, for these people way easier.
That makes a lot of sense. So when you go from like a hardware solution to a software solution here, you actually like open up all kinds of new use cases for the showrunner and for the event organizers and everything.
Yeah.
That's quite clever. So you just started out, so you had this idea, you noticed people are running back and forth out of the room to start and stop their timers. So you build yourself a little solution. At what point do you realize, like, oh, like, maybe I should charge money for this? When does it go from like project to startup?
Yeah, that's a fair question. So I posted it on Reddit. I looked literally, because I wasn't in this industry, I looked for a subreddit, like who's interested in these kind of things, video production. Found some, posted it. People liked it a lot more than I expected. And I thought, I'm just using this as a training ground. Let me figure out how this whole SaaS thing works, right? I want to be a business owner, I want to be a founder, I want to see how the SaaS thing works. Let me just put a payment system in it, youth authentication, to learn how to make my next SaaS thing. The same evening that I kind of launched this payment integration. and I posted it on Twitter. And I didn't make any big deal out of it because for me it was more a test. Somebody bought already, and he told me, "Oh,
Nice.
there might be a product here that I hadn't realized."
Like, did all your first few customers come from that Reddit post, or like were there other channels you were experimenting
Pretty much,
with?
like
Yeah.
the Reddit post, and then posting a bit on Twitter, and then by and by you get to know some people from the industry, and I got invited to Discord servers. That was definitely how we got our first client.
But the cool thing is that we can pretty much see that it was mainly from the Reddit post, and then from there, word of mouth has become the biggest, like, growth hack for us, because it really, we didn't even have to do affiliate marketing or anything like this. It was just people so happy that they finally found a tool, because such a tool didn't exist indeed. So that was the nice thing. We were not creating something that is completely new in the sense that we had to convince people to use, because like is a concept like Uber or Airbnb, you know, that you're like, I'm not sure I want to enter the car of a stranger. It was not that at all, but it was new enough that since there was nobody offering such a solution that you could control remotely, that it was really cool to see. Every time we would write to people and say, how did you find out about StageTimer? Oh, a friend on the industry or a friend of mine told me, and that was really cool to see.
So fun fact, the people that use our tool, they all have expensive cameras and YouTube channels because it's in the industry. So we have gotten, I think, 2 or 3 like video reviews and video presentations.
Like super well done,
Very
you know?
well, much better than we could do. Posted on YouTube without, like, we didn't ask for it, you know, we didn't, nothing. They just send us, hey, I made a video about you guys.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's really cool, actually. And then we know there are some channels that consistently mention us, and then people, like, you see that spike, and then I know, oh, okay, that channel probably mentioned us. And sure enough, a few days later, people start saying, yeah, I saw on this show or this YouTube channel. So it's pretty cool.
Have you tried like syndicating any of those as like a paid ad? Like take those testimonials and just send it in, like pay for distribution on Twitter or Instagram or something?
Well, we had considered already doing some user-generated content. By now, first of all, we haven't seen that our target customer is really active on Twitter. So, and I'm not even sure if Twitter ads are that good, because I always get the wrong ones. So I take by my own experience, like I never get one that makes sense for me. I think Twitter thinks I'm a dude, like a middle-aged dude or something. So that's something that I'm always paying attention, since I am taking care of ads. It's like, where do I find these people and where does it make sense? Because people say, go to LinkedIn. Really? Have you ever clicked on an ad on LinkedIn? LinkedIn is terrible, you know?
Never in my life.
Yeah, so I have studied about it, and everybody that I trust says LinkedIn is one of the worst, you know, to run ads. So we found out that actually when it comes to ads, Google is the best for us, because the search intent is there. People, when they're looking for a tool like us and find us, they're super happy and convert right away. We have a lot of right away conversions, you know, people find, oh, that's what I was looking for. And then another thing that I did in the past also that is more for discovery was Facebook ads. And that also worked very well. I'm not very convinced about doing Twitter ads, because we don't even see our people there, our customer segment.
Okay, I mean, she makes it sound like everything worked well. In the very beginning, what we tried is reach out to YouTube channels that are professionals in our niche. Said, hey, can we sponsor you? And they kind of answered us like, yeah, we like you guys, but we don't do sponsoring here. And we're like, okay, we had no idea. Like, we had never done this, you know, we had no idea. It's like, okay, good, this is not a version that, you know, a thing that we can do.
That's a very good point. We had tried exactly that, and people were like, no, it's not really what we do. And the other thing is that these people, I think they would be a bit offended if you try to buy them off, in the sense of, for example, everybody just recommends StageTimer, and they have never asked for, like, can I have a referral link or something like this. It seems like it's not how the industry works. So far, this is not what we felt from the industry. And one thing that you learn when you're studying marketing is that if it's working, don't try to mess up with it. So since word of mouth is so huge for us, we really didn't want to destroy it by... It's the whole thing, like, you don't offer a lollipop for a person that is doing it already, because they get offended, like, I don't need your lollipop, I'm doing that already. So that's what we didn't want to mess up with.
So I think there's some things about you guys that I've noticed in several successful like bootstrap teams. Like one is the like bootstrapper / co-founder power couple dynamic. There's like several people out there who have like gone from spouses to co-founders, and for some reason it seems like they're all doing well. So I think there's something there. Have you found that like being married helps the business? Like, how does it affect your communication style? How do you separate your work and your life when your work spouse and your life spouse are the same person?
I'll probably turn around and say the business helps the marriage, because I don't know, you know, like couples that are so long together and they don't know what to talk about anymore because they have talked about everything. Having a business really is a good remedy for this, because you always have something to talk about, often more than you actually have time to. So that's nice. And it, of course, you know each other, and just having two people helps tremendously.
Yeah, I think that I agree with that, and I think there's even a few nice, like the sprinkles on top, because first of all, it's true, we have so much to talk about business that every time we go out to eat, it becomes a business lunch or business dinner meeting, because we just have so much to discuss. And the other thing is that because we have been together already for 9 years, we know each other fairly well. So I think it takes the stress of working with the stranger, so to say, and then you're always just walking in eggshells, never knowing if like you're going to trigger this person or because in the work environment before working just the two of us, I had people working for me, and it was always this thing like you were trying so hard not to hurt or say anything. And anyways, just working with your spouse when you know each other very well, it's like I already know how to tackle the conversation or go about things. I think it makes business easier also. And right now we are in this phase that StageTimer is doing well, and I don't need to work all day on StageTimer anymore. And then we started talking like, okay, I'm bored. I need a new side project. So I think it's so cool to be able to just say that openly without holding back out of fear of hurting or causing any uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So is StageTimer at a point now where it's kind of running itself? Like, is there a lot of day-to-day that's going on at this point?
Here's an interesting thing that I even had a conversation on Twitter recently, and some people say, oh, maybe that's what is happening to me as well. I thought that the more customers we get, the more tickets, like support tickets I would have to do, right? The funny thing is that I didn't realize that I was getting a lot of messages in the beginning because these were early adopters that really wanted to talk to me and help out with the tool and help build the tool, so to say. Now that we have these mainstream people buying, especially these companies that are bigger and so on, they never get back to us. Never. Like in the past, everybody would respond the onboarding email when I asked them how did they learn about StageTimer, and people would always get back to me. Now it's like 1 in 100 gets back to me, or 5 in 100. And then it's really like it's not proportional at all. It's not like the more customers, the more tickets. No, it's really decreasing already. And then July is the slowest month for us, and there was hardly anything to do this month. So it's good that I started a new side project already, because otherwise I would be completely bored in July.
Yeah. What's your new side project?
For me, it was just important to work together with a few more technical founders and a few more people and have this exchange. So I was starting just a few months ago a project with 2 other technical founders from the space of AV professionals, which has been quite nice. So pre-revenue yet, but it's a cool a cool site thing.
Yeah.
This is an AV candy store, or these are 2 separate things? Candy store.
That would be cool. No, he's doing the AV one, and
a whole new candy shopping experience.
That would be great. No, I started this candy store that when you open, people can check. Listeners can check and give me feedback.
Let me explain like this.
Yeah.
We challenge ourselves. We go across the street and we challenge ourselves. Look at this store that you see over there. How would you improve this?
We do that all the time. It's our running game.
With bakeries and all kinds of stuff. And one was a candy store. It's like, how would you improve this candy store? And it was one of them, you go in, you get like you grab a bag and you put your candy in, and then you weigh it and you pay it. And I thought, can you bring this experience of going there like a kid, you know, giggling, having all these jars with all the colorful candy, putting it into your own bag? Can you digitize this experience? So that's what we try to do.
Yeah,
having
that's what
having
we
kind of
tell
like a Google Map like experience where you scroll around like a candy factory floor, and then you see all these sparkling, and you can click on everything, and it just ends up in your bag.
And it was actually a funny thing because when we went, we used to go every now and then to this store, and every time we went there, I made the comment like, "Have you realized that every single time it's just people our age in the store? It's not kids." And I was like, millennials seem to be really, you know, still addicted to candy,
into candy,
just like when we were kids, and meeting the non-technical founder, thinking go-to-market strategy and marketing and just customer acquisition. I was like, man, this sounds like an awesome thing because we don't have to target kids, which is hard because then like you're targeting the kids, but then the parents have to be convinced, and the whole thing about marketing to kids. We were like, man, we can actually target to Gen Z and millennials that already have their own means to buy stuff. You know, it's not like asking their parents. And that's what we got all excited, and people can check. I think it would be cool if somebody's listening and check out, just send me a message afterwards and tell me what you think. So just go to ohcandyworld.com, and O is ohcandyworld.com. And then you can check around and you can click around. It's pretty cool because when I was doing the prototype and I fulfilled, and yeah, it's pretty, right? And it's just Fiverr. I just got a design on Fiverr.
How did you come up with the name? Oh, we looked for com domain. It was
that was so. Yesterday I was telling about this project to a friend, and she was like, "Oh, I love the name O Candy." I was like, "Yeah, it was just what was available."
First name that popped out.
So that's how we do prototype. You know, we do it very low key, and we are not afraid of investing a little bit of money and just trying something. I have done a bunch of things in the past already, and the cool thing is that so far from all my projects, it was always either breaking even or making a little bit of profit or even a lot of profit, especially on the things that I did in Brazil. So we are just this kind of people. We like to try stuff, and we always say just throw spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks, you know. And I'm super excited to do O Candy when we are back in Germany. Truly excited.
So you found like some kind of candy store fulfiller?
So here's a short lesson on how to do MVP, right? So because we were just doing the minimum, like it was really just a prototype. I didn't have to partner with anybody. I was just fulfilling myself. I already fulfilled a few orders. And it's just that, just go to
to the candy shop down the street and
because then you buy the bags, you know. And yeah, exactly. You go to the supermarket, you buy the bags.
Sense.
That's the cool thing, you know. I see that a lot of people that are into software and so on, they don't have a clear idea on how to do MVP for physical products and so on. But it's pretty simple, actually. You know, you literally just buy a few bags, a few envelopes, and a few bags of candy. And then I commissioned the design from Fiverr. Got a pretty cool dude, you know, to do the thing for me, and that's pretty much it, you know. And I had so much fun fulfilling the first orders. As I said, I won't be scaling it right now because we won't be able to fulfill all the way from Indonesia.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, what happens in Indonesia? Do you find somebody
I'll probably shut it down. I am
for the
considering just partnering with a candy store to fulfill, but I'm not really sure because then I won't have hardly any margin and will still, you know, work with the person. So it doesn't seem to be, it doesn't seem to make sense to do it while I'm gone.
How many orders have you fulfilled so far?
Actually, I just did it with my friends, so it was like 8 to 10 packages at most that I fulfilled.
Okay, so nothing crazy.
No,
where
I
it's
don't
like,
have to queue anything. I didn't
away.
really work on creating marketing channels.
Yeah.
I did some tests on TikTok, on Instagram, but that's my mentality. I'm this kind of person. I try the stuff and then just to learn from it, because now I know more or less the direction I want to go in 1 year when we are back.
Yeah, that's really dope how you're like thinking about how to MVP something physical, something with like you know, stuff that needs to get shipped. How can I do this in a lightweight way that, you know, if it does take off,
that's something that we like doing. Lucas started this timer without being in the industry, and I also like to try different stuff. Last year, for example, I created a journal in Brazil, and it was funny because my sister was fulfilling since I'm in Germany, and she was laughing because she was like, you really got 40 people buying this journal without even seeing, because I did so MVP that I just told people on my Instagram, and there was no picture, there was no nothing. And once I got 10 orders, then I ordered the design and the mock-up, and then I got 30 more orders, because it was the minimum for me to make some money. It was 40 orders. And I just have fun doing that kind of stuff, like just trying something that I have no idea how to do, and then cracking it.
It only failed, quote unquote, because Liz didn't find someone in Brazil
I couldn't find a single soul to fulfill for me.
To fulfill it, and that's why we say with the candy store, like let's wait until we're back. And
fulfillment is hard.
We can do it ourselves.
Yeah, you have to have someone that you really can trust, that will take it as seriously as you do. And my sister has kids, so she was just doing as a favor for me. And I couldn't find a single person that I could trust to fulfill the journal in Brazil. Otherwise, I would have scaled it. And
is there a Brazil stop on the world tour then, so that you can go figure out a fulfillment partner for the journal?
So? No, I don't think so. We are going to spend most of our time in Asia, and then in any case, it wouldn't make sense to ship from there, because that's the thing about physical products. Germany is one of the biggest producers of nice candy like this, the Haribo and so on. So that's why it just made sense, because I could buy directly from the factory in the future. So we're excited to still give it a try when we are back.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You guys have really good indie hacker spirit. It's like idea, execution, and also so I really liked what you were saying about how you were getting pre-sales for the journal. People really overestimate how much you need before you can start selling, because the answer is usually you don't need anything at all. You just need a good pitch.
I would say that
a way for people to pay you.
It really depends on what type of product,
and
then if it's geared to your audience or not. In this case, the journal worked because I had quite an audience in Brazil, and these were people that trusted me already. And then knowing what I know about psychology, they probably didn't even realize that I didn't show a picture. They trust me so much that I don't think they realized, she hasn't shown me a picture, but I'll buy anyways, It was really like they bought because they trust me, and then as soon as I showed the mock-up, probably people were even like, I've seen already, because that's the psychology of trust. So it really depends when we are building something that is for people that we don't have an audience yet. Then of course you have to do a bit more than just tell people I am putting together a journal especially for this audience or our kind of people. So it depends on the thing, but you're totally right. It's just the pitch, and if you have an audience and the trust of this audience already, you can just go for it.
Yeah, the trust is big. If you started selling things that you didn't follow through on, right, then you build a reputation in the other direction. People no longer buy from you because you lose that trust. But as long as you're open about your process and are the kind of person that will follow through, then you really don't need to have built anything yet. It's better actually that you haven't, because then you can get feedback early on and build what people want versus guessing and then trying to sell. So a lot of people are doing it the wrong way around.
Exactly. And to go full circle for Stage Timer was exactly like that. That's the cool thing. When Lucas created the first version, it was it has nothing to do with what we have right now, because once he posted on Reddit, he got so much feedback. And then from the users, then the customers, we were getting so much feedback that the tool became what it became because of the feedback.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. Since I have never worked in this video producer industry, I didn't even know what they need. So it was almost 90% is listening to users, listening to what they say, what they need, and then implementing it, and then iterating on it, right? Your first implementation is bad. So just push it out, see what they say, iterate on it a few times, and then it will be really useful.
It's even funny to remember just this one funny thing, that when we started working together in September last year, in October we got an email from a yearly user that said, if you don't have these things by the end of this 1 year that that I have the subscription, I'm going to cancel. And we panicked, because we were like, oh man, but it was so cool because he gave us the ultimatum, and then we realized this is what people really need, And it was sure enough, he is in the event industry. And then he gave us this ultimatum that in the end it was this best vision of what the product had to be. And nowadays I laugh because I cannot even imagine anybody giving this ultimatum anymore, because the tool is so complete for most people. They are amazed that such a tool even exists. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty ideal customer to have, somebody who's like, hey guys, I'm going to pay you early even though it doesn't quite work for me yet. But here's the
That's
list, the exact list of things that I need it to do.
European or early adopters, because they're
cool.
straight to the point and they will tell you what they need.
Yeah. That's what you want. You don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, it's like so great, but like not for me though. Like I'm not going to buy it. It's like, no, it sucks for these specific reasons. And if you fix them, then I will pay you money, you know? Or I'll pay you money now. Fix these. I trust you. You've got 6 months. All right. So last couple questions here. So we know you guys are doing like 2,000 recurring, 4,000 on an average month. Is that paying your bills? Are you guys ramen profitable there? Or is there some...
There's some freelancing going on still.
Gaps still
But
across.
for mental health purposes, meaning we could live with that money, but we also don't want to be scraping the bottom. So Lucas is still doing some freelancing.
Is that going to continue into the gap year?
Yeah. So I
keep freelancing on the road?
The project I have right now is continuing a few more months, but it just takes a certain amount of time in a month, which is really important to me.
I kind of hope that he finishes this one. He's finishing this freelancing work for by December, and I kind of hope by then he can stop getting freelance work, because I also want him to just be free to go about, you know, the things that he's interested, instead of just something that he's partly interested but is more for the money.
I was squeezing another side project.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Like, I feel like, so I always say that the freelancing is the bootstrapper seed round. It's like a great way to self-fund and expose yourself to good problems and things at the same time. Like, I was freelancing for a long time, just recently quit, and it's felt really good to be able to just focus on indie projects. I hope I'm not quite, well, I guess I'm ramen profitable, but not just from the recurring revenue, right? So I'm trying to get to where it's just the recurring revenue is consistently ramen profitable. That's my goal.
Absolutely.
So, is that your goal as well for the next few months?
We do.
Like, you have a 6 month goal?
You can say the technical part, then I'll say the money. So the money part, I want to scale the business to 10,000 in revenue by the end of the year per month. We have been growing consistently, and this is not like a crazy shot, you know. But because we have this thing, is seasonal, is a seasonal industry, and July goes super low, then it's always that thing that I have to pick up now in August. So I don't know if we're going to get, but it's safe to say that we are going to get to 8,000 to 10,000 a month by December. That's my goal. And then, of course, this is revenue. This is not profit, because I will be doing quite a bit of ads to make that happen. But our ads is usually, our ad budget is a fifth of our revenue. So it's not bad at all. When I say if I get to 10,000, it doesn't mean that I'm going to spend all that money in ads at all. Ads have been very profitable for us, so
that's good, because that's like,
it's
you
a
just
pipeline,
pour money in, you get extra money out. I'm sure there's some diminishing returns when you reach everybody in your market, if it's a small enough market. But I think ads are definitely underused by the bootstrappers. It's like there's a lot of negative ideas around ads, and I think just it's not something a lot of people are familiar with. Because
first of all, it takes time to learn how to do ads properly, and then if you're not doing the proper targeting, you're just throwing money down the toilet. So in most cases, when I talk to people, I have been talking to a few founders, because I share about my ad journey on Twitter. The problem is that most people haven't found product market fit yet. So it's impossible to target if you don't know who actually buys your product. So that's why usually people try ads and it doesn't work. It's because either they don't know the targeting, or the product market fit is not there. So you don't know the keywords that you should be targeting, the demographics. So that's pretty much what. Yeah.
Well, our experience is that ads are like almost every other thing. Your first 20% of effort gets you 80% of the way. And then there's a world of detail to get lost in that brings you the remaining 20%. So the first trial and error really gets you quite far if you just try out a little bit and see what happens. And
yeah, exactly. And if anybody is interested, just let me know. I can help.
I think we should do a workshop. Like we're trying to do workshops every single week this month. Let's do a paid ads workshop in a few weeks. Paid ads for hackers.
I think is a great start. As I said, usually in the beginning you need the help of someone if you don't have the whole vision. But once you get the hang of it, you can totally go crazy. And for us, it's really like that. Whatever we put into ads, then we get out of it. So it has become already a very clear concept right now. Cool.
All right, I'll follow up in the DMs so we can figure something out. Liz, Lucas, it's been awesome having you guys on. I'll share links to your Twitters and your projects in the bio. So definitely check out stagetimer.io and ocandyworld.com, but hurry up and order because orders are closing soon.